Good evening. We've heard and will continue to hear of the more horrors and atrocities of the Islamic State, ISIL, ISIS, or whatever you want to call them, on a daily basis, and none of it is pleasant. But what's going on here in Tower Hamlets, the historic East End of London? News is filtering through that the three girls who run away from Bethnal Green Academy to become jihadi brides have, at the tender age of 15, become as such. This, after being held in purdah until they are purified of their Western ways. May I congratulate them on the first step to becoming jihadi widows. Whole families from throughout the UK are decamping our rainy shores to the glories of the Islamic Caliphate. Most will eventually be added to the growing body count in that part of the world. Here, in Tower Hamlets, the Wahhabist, Salafist version of Islam continues to make headway, bolstered, nourished by tens of millions of petrodollars from Saudi Arabia and other states. Just step off the tube, or subway as the North Americans call it, any market day at Whitechapel, and you will see scores of burqa-clad women and bearded geezers in 1,500-year-old retro gear. Noticeable also are the small but growing number of Western converts rigged up in these costumes. Yet in Dhaka, capital of Bangladesh, where most of the Muslims that live around here originally come from, as shown on the TV news the other day, on an unrelated matter, the street scene revealed women dressed quite normally and with headscarves, like they do in India. Certainly not the burqa'd hordes of Whitechapel. As a natural result of this anti-human ideology within the Muslim community here, there is increasing child abuse, forced marriage, polygamy even, with the women usually working to support the extended family and their parasitic ponce husbands, plus tolerance of domestic violence. I myself live and work deep in the geographical heart of this community, and I've lived here for 20 plus years. So it ain't coming from the media, what I'm telling you. Just tonight I was talking to a woman who was constantly harassed on Whitechapel Road for dressing immodestly by the creepy men that congregate around the East London Mosque. But what about that never talked about other phenomena? For example, those Muslims who, after intense personal and psychological struggle and great sacrifice that we cannot even begin to imagine, have abandoned Islam completely to become atheists. In many instances, it results in losing family, friends, estrangement from their communities. Many take this courageous step after a long period of internal exile, unable to express their doubts for genuine fear of isolation. The estimated 10,000 of such people in London alone are beginning, albeit slowly, to find a voice, coming together through social media, ignored by liberals and the left, which is definitely to their advantage if you want my opinion. The apostates, even here in London, are taking a genuine risk. How long before the first one is murdered here on the streets? And such adversity they could well face, believe me, what with the way things are going. As anarchists, we've long ago abandoned the notion of God and all that goes with it. We have an excellent understanding and rejection of God and the state, the most obscene coupling imaginable. To the Muslim atheists, we say, you don't have to be Western, you don't have to become like us, acknowledge the Queen, sing our ridiculous national anthem, wave the Union Jack, worship or be dominated by our worthless commodities and political system, get into capitalism, authority. There's no point in collapsing dead drunk in the street as a riposte to collapsing through severe dehydration in this hot weather because you cannot take in liquids owing to that barbaric custom known as Ramadan. We say, come and join us, anarchists, in your bid for freedom. Take it to its logical conclusion. Go for it, totally. The future is revolution or repression, religious or state, or a combination of the both. And if the darlings of the EDL come back to Tower Hamlets, we will be out there together, not to defend Islam, but to defend our community. We're being taken over, colonised, then socially cleansed from the East End in a brutal, spectacular and merciless manner. But it's not the Muslims that are doing this to us, but the most deadly enemy, arrogant, brimming with entitlement, fully protected by the law and the state, displacing us all, and that is the international and indigenous rich. That's where the struggle for the future is pointing for us here. Good night.